Hey guys, it's Jessie and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to today's video. Today we've probably got one of the videos I'm most excited for in a long time, and that's going to be tier ranking every single book I read in 2022. You guys will probably know that my Goodreads goal for 2022 was 100 books and I did surpass that. I read 101 books in 2022, so I can now put 100 plus books in the title, which is very satisfying. But today I'm going to be tier ranking them all for you guys. I am super duper excited. Got lots and lots of books here, and yeah, overall I just can't wait to get started. So as you guys can see, I've got my tier ranker list here with all my different tiers and all of the different books I read in 2022. There's 97 books here because certain books like the Mindfuck series I have lumped into just one rather than ranking them all individually because they're very short books. But these are all the books I read in 2022. It doesn't look like too many, but I'm gonna go through them all today. I'm super excited. So our categories, we have 6 different categories because I didn't want to necessarily just do these as star ratings because you can just see that on my Goodreads, but I wanted to basically have kind of different categories for different books. So firstly we've got Have My Children. These are the best books. These are the books that I literally adored. My best books of the year, 10 out of 10. These would have been in the top books of 2022 if I did that video. I just did a worst books of 2022, which I'll link up here if you want to watch at some point. It'll be in the cards, and then also up there will be me doing kind of like a kind of sports bracket of all of my kind of mid-tier 3 and 4 star reads, which I would also recommend you watch. But the first tier is Have My Children. These are the best of the best. Then we've got This Was So Good, books that were just incredible, so close to a 5-star but just not quite there. Then we've got You Were Good But You Weren't Great. These were ones that I do enjoy. I can especially understand why other people enjoy them, and I would potentially recommend them quite freely. Like, I do think they're very good books, but just for me they weren't personal favourites. Then we've got I Don't Think I Actually Read This, but okay. These are the forgettable books, ones that like I think I liked you but I really can't remember the plot. Like, it was just forgettable, nothing really stuck with me. Then we've got This Actually Kind of Sucked, books that were just actually kind of a little bit bad. They were not very good. And then we've got This Caused Me Physical Pain. These are the worst books, really bad ones. So yeah, without further ado, I think we'll get straight into it. So these are all in a random order, but I just got these all off of my Goodreads, so if something's slightly wrong, blame Goodreads, not me. I can do no wrong. So first up we have Shatter Me, which is the first book in the Shatter Me series. I adore the Shatter Me series, but I'm kind of partway through Restore Me right now, and I haven't kind of been reading it very much. I haven't been gripped by it, but the first few books I loved. Shatter Me I'm going to put in This Was So Good because it was so good. It wasn't top tier like the next one, which is Ignite Me. This is one of my favourites out of the Shatter Me series. This one, and I might as well grab the other one. This one and Unravel Me were 2 of my absolute favourites from this series. I adored it. Then we've got Destroy Me, which I need to tell which is which because there's Fracture Me on here as well somewhere. Fracture Me I believe is Warner's. No, I think Destroy Me is Warner's, and that's why I'm going to put that one in This Was So Good. Fracture Me I didn't like. That was Adam's short story, and I'm going to put that in This Kind of Suck. So those are my Shatter Me rankings. Those are all the Shatter Me books I've read so far, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, those are my rankings for that. Kind of self-explanatory. Then we've got Hopeless by Colleen Hoover, which, unpopular opinion, this actually kind of sucked. I didn't really enjoy Hopeless at all. I thought that it was probably one of the most predictable books that I'd read. Everyone says this has got an insane plot twist, but I predicted this literally. I predicted multiple twists from about the 25-30% mark, and I just found it so boring. It was like, it kind of read like a Wattpad story to me, and in a bad way, a way that I didn't really like. Then we've got This Girl, which I believe is the second book in the, no, it's the third book. Oh my god, this is the third book. This is the one I hate. This is the third book in the Slam series, which was literally so pointless. It's the entire first and second book, but just from a different person's point of view, and it adds nothing. It's awful, and it was such a waste of time. Then we've got Losing Hope, which was fine, I guess. Again, I can't remember anything from it. I probably get it muddled up with Hopeless very easily. It was better than Hopeless, but very forgettable. Didn't really enjoy it. Then we got The Circle, which I read for the Reading the Longest Books on my TBR video, and I was so pleasantly surprised by this. I never would have picked it off my TBR. It would have probably sat there for ages, but I really enjoyed this. I believe I actually gave it 5 stars. It's not like a top 5-star, but I am definitely interested in reading the sequel. Overall, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was a super good kind of dystopian book. Then we've got Finding Cinderella. I believe I gave this 3 stars at the time, but I'm actually putting in This Kind of Sucks because I don't remember what happened. I believe it's about Daniel and Six. Actually, I'm just putting in I don't actually think I read this. I can't remember that. Like, I cannot remember what happened at all. Point of retreat, I'm gonna put in, I can kind of remember this. It was like, it was fine. I think I gave it a 2.5. Actually, I think I want to add in another category. Just add in one that says like just okay. So I'm gonna put in just okay. I'm gonna put point of retreat in there because it was fine. It was just okay. I do remember it, but like it was literally just fine. Then we've got The Nightingale, which I'm going to put in you were good but you weren't great. I think people would really enjoy this one. I liked it. I thought it was really good. It's not like a top tier book for me. I believe I gave it 4 stars. I might have given it 4.25. I did really enjoy it, but I just think overall I'm not a super big historical fiction girly. That is not like my genre of choice, but overall it was good. It was interesting. I did enjoy it. Then we've got Maybe Not, which is also going in the I don't actually think I read this, but okay. I know it's about Bridget and Warren, but I literally can't remember anything else, and it's like a short story, not that interesting. Then we've got The Hasting Game. This actually kind of sucked. Sorry, I gave this one like 4 stars. I think this has still got 4 stars on my Goodreads, which is ridiculous. But like looking back on it, I don't think it was that good. I think I just kind of bought into the TikTok hype of it, and overall it was just kind of boring, I think. I don't think I loved it too much. Then we've got Wrecked, which is the 3rd book in the Dirty Air series. This is about Jax and his like personal assistant Elena. I'm gonna put this in just okay because it pretty much was. It was just okay. It wasn't like incredible. It was fine. Then we got 1,000 Boy Kisses. I'm gonna put this in you were good but you weren't great. I really enjoyed this. This made me sob. I cried so much when I read this book, and I did really enjoy it. A lot of people say it's written quite young. I think it is YA. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be written young, obviously, but I didn't overly notice that. I thought it was a little bit cliche, but overall it was fine. I did enjoy it. Then we've got Slammed. This is, I think it was Colleen Hoover's first book. I read this, I believe, in my Reading Colleen Hoover for a Week video. I'm gonna put this in just okay as well. I actually believe I did give it 4 stars. I think that's because the other books I was reading for that video were not good at all, so it kind of probably distorted my perspective slightly. But yeah, it was just okay. It was fine. Then we've got The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This was so good. I absolutely loved this book. I really want to read more Taylor Jenkins Reid next year because this book was incredible. I think I gave it 4.75. It was amazing. Then we've got Without Merit. Where am I wanting to put this? I'm probably gonna put it in this actually kind of sucked because it did. I'm sorry. At the time I think I gave it 3 point something stars, but looking back it's just so weird. Certain things happen that I'm just like, that's odd, and I really can't remember too much of it, but like certain parts I can remember. Really just, it was just a bit of a random book, a bit of a wild book. Then we got They Both Die at the End. This was so good. I love that one as well. Really good. This also made me cry. I really cannot wait to read The First to Die at the End, which is like a prequel book but not following the same characters. Overall I love that. BookTok was very much right with that one. Then we got Confess. This is going in you were good but you weren't great. Nothing crazy about this one. It was good. It was kind of like a classic Colleen Hoover romance. I mean, it's got obviously more serious themes, but it wasn't super dark like some of her books. It was just fine. A little bit forgettable, to be honest. I don't remember too much of this plot, but not enough that I'm going to put it in I don't actually think I read this, because overall I do remember it being quite good. This one's a bit controversial. We've got Book Lovers, which is going in this actually kind of sucked. I think I gave this 3 stars because I felt a little bit peer pressured in my review. Not peer pressured, but just like I knew everyone would love it and I didn't want to be super controversial. This was just fine. It was actually kind of dull in my opinion, sorry. Everyone talks about the insane banter they had and like how Charlie, the main guy character in this, was like so like lovable. He just seems so dull, like a plank of wood to me, and I didn't notice any crazy banter. My favourite Emily Henry book is definitely Beach Read, then People We Meet on Vacation, then Book Lovers, but Beach Read definitely outranks them as a bigger gap between that and People We Meet on Vacation than Book Lovers and People We Meet on Vacation. I'm very excited to read her new book this year, but if it's kind of a flop for me like Book Lovers was, then unfortunately I just think Beach Read was a bit of a fluke in terms of it being a book that I enjoyed, which is very sad because I did love it, and Book Lovers just did not live up to the hype for me. Then we've got The Flat Share. This is going in just okay. It's a fine book. It's actually being made into a movie soon, but yeah, this was fine. I did enjoy it. It was just a pretty simple, easy book. I don't remember too much of it, but it's basically about these 2 people that share an apartment, but one person gets in the night, one person gets in the day, and they kind of communicate and fall in love via like post-it notes. It's quite cute. Then we've got Never Never, which I'm putting in you were good but you weren't great. This was actually so good. This was a really underrated Colleen Hoover book. It's written in collaboration with someone else, and I believe it's in 3 kind of short stories or like novellas, but I've read it as one whole book on my Kindle and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of got a little bit of a speculative magical realism element, which I actually really enjoyed, and yeah, it was really good. I did enjoy it. Then we've got One Day in December. So this is also going in just okay. There were certain parts of it that I didn't really love, but overall I did enjoy the story. I enjoyed the kind of idea of like missed connections. I really love that in books, and yeah, I thought it was very good. I did enjoy it. Then we've got All Your Perfects. This is going in. This was so good. I absolutely adored this book. This was incredible, and yeah, nothing really too bad to say about it. It was so good. I really liked the kind of marriage on the rocks kind of trope. I liked having two slightly unlikable main characters. I always find that quite interesting, and overall I did like this. Then we've got The Bride Test. This is going in, I'm debating between You Were Good, You Weren't Great and Just Okay. I'm going in Just Okay because something near the end happened I didn't really like, and it made me kind of like the relationship between the two main characters a little bit less, but overall it was fine. Fix Her Up caused me physical pain. This book sucked so much and was so cringy, and I'm worried because I've got to read 2 Tessa Bailey books for videos I want to do coming up, and the 2 books from her that I've read so far I've hated, so we'll see. But that literally sucked so bad. I hated that book. Less as well also sucked so much. It caused me physical pain. It was the dullest book I've ever read in my life. The dullest fiction book. He's in so many different locations which can make it so interesting. He's on like this world trip and it's just dull. It's so dull, so I didn't really like that. Then we've got The Silent Patient. This kind of sucked, I can't lie. Overall it was fine. I just found the main narrator really pretentious, and I feel like there were red herrings thrown in, which I normally like, but to the point where there were like massive plot deviations that had zero relevance at all. I'd love like a red herring to be like something that's revealed about a different character later on, something like that still links into the story, but this one you were taking down different routes and then they were just dead ends, not even linked to anything else, and the actual reveal at the end was kind of nothing to do with the whole one section of the book. So yeah, I just didn't really like it. Don't think it deserved the hype. This one's so controversial. This one's so controversial. I'm putting Heartstopper in Just Okay. I didn't love Heartstopper. I'm going to put them all in Just Okay because they were, to me, all just okay. I didn't love them. I don't know why. I think they read a bit young for me. I know it's YA, but I don't think that means that characters don't need to be like fleshed out and stuff. It was my first graphic novel, so after I read, I've got another one here that I want to read on my TBR. You can't really see, but I'm pointing to it. And maybe after reading some more I'll like them more and appreciate them more, but unfortunately I just did not enjoy it too much, and that is super unpopular. Then we've got The Sweetest Oblivion. I read this near the start of the year, so I can't remember it all too well, but I remember loving it, so I'm putting this in. This was so good. I believe I gave it 5 stars. Just because I can't remember it too much, I'm not going to put it in my Have My Children tier, because I just, again, don't really remember it too much and don't think that I really loved it enough to like remember it, so clearly it wasn't that good, but overall I did really enjoy it. It's a mafia romance and I really enjoyed it. I think it was my first mafia romance that I read and it was very good. Then we've got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm going to put this in. This was so good because I can't wait to reread this one. I really want to give this one another read. I know I loved it, and the other 2 I gave 5 stars, so maybe rereading this one with the connection to the characters I have, I might like it even more, and I do think this is a potential, because I give it 4.75. It's very likely that I'll up this to a 5 stars, I think, when I reread this. Then we've got Red, White and Royal Blue. I remember really liking it. I'm putting it in. This was so good. I need to reread this one because, again, I read it at the start of the year. I'd only read about 20-25 books at this point, in terms of like since I got back into reading, so I really kind of didn't have a good judge on how much I liked books. So going back, I'd really like to read it again, see how that kind of adds up and compares, because overall certain books like November 9th I used to rank really highly, and now thinking about it I probably wouldn't rank it so high, and I can't remember too much of this, but I do think I did enjoy it. Then we got Evidence of the Affair. This is a short story by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It was good. It was fine. I did enjoy it, and I thought it was quite interesting. It was an interesting way to tell the story because it was actually like just told through letters back and forth, so you didn't know necessarily everything that was going on. Then we've got Maybe Now. I'm putting that in Just Okay. It was fine, nothing wrong with it. It was the last book in the Maybe Someday series. I loved it so much more than Maybe Someday, but that wasn't difficult, and overall it was good. It was fine. Then we've got Bunny. I'm going to put this in You Were Good But You Weren't Great. This was a little bit overhyped to me, but I did enjoy it. I think if I went into it more blind I would have liked it more, but everyone said it was so weird and so crazy, and it wasn't one of the weirdest books I've read. Like, it was random, it seemed, but good, enjoyable, but and I liked the way it ended, but overall it wasn't quite as good as I think I'd hyped up in my head to be. Then we've got Milk, Blood, Heat. This was so good. This is a collection of short stories that I loved. I find it difficult to rank short story collections in my top because there might be a story or two in there that I find a bit dull and don't like, but there were a load of really good stories in here, so I really enjoyed that. Love Her or Lose Her sucked so bad, just like Fix Her Up. It was awful and so cringy. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, You Were Good But You Weren't Great. I really loved, I think the third story in this was my absolute favourite and it made me cry. The rest of them were like, okay, they were fine, but I really loved the kind of cozy vibes of this. I really want to read the other books in the series just because I love the kind of cozy vibes. It made me feel so like calm reading it and I really enjoyed it. November 9th, I'm going to put in Just Okay just because I really can't remember it. I gave it 5 stars when I read it. Now I think I bumped it down to a 4, but I really need to reread it because I don't know, kind of maybe looking at it now, whether I would kind of feel differently about it because I know it's quite controversial. Then we've got Dead Aid, which is a non-fiction book that I hated. It was so dull, so dull. The Maddest Obsession, I don't think I read this. I can't remember this. This is the second book in the Maid series, which the first one is The Sweetest Oblivion up here. And I can't remember at all. I really cannot remember this book. So I'm not sure if it was good. I can't remember. So yeah. Randomised caused me physical pain. This sucked as well. This was just so dull. It's like 40 pages and it felt like so much longer in the worst way possible. Literally don't really have a plot. Maybe Someday. This also caused me physical pain. I hated the characters, which is so difficult to me to like a book because they weren't intentionally unlikable. You were meant to root for them and I didn't. I realised this is kind of starting to get a little bit long, so I'm trying to speed this up. You've Arrived at Your Destination kind of sucked because it was just disappointing. I feel like I had really high expectations from the premise and it sounded really good, but overall I didn't like it at all. Emergency Skin was really good. I'm giving this, I'm going to put it up here because it was a short story and looking at everything in the This Was So Good tier, it wasn't quite as good as those, but I do think it is at the very top of this tier. Like the You Were Good But You Weren't Great, I'm putting it right at the front because it was super good and I really enjoyed it. And it was a very good short story. I wish it was longer actually because I think it was super interesting. Then we've got Arc, which is going in Just Okay. It was fine. It was a really cute little short story from the same collection as Randomised, You've Arrived at Your Destination and Emergency Skin. Then we've got Finding Perfect. I'm going to put this in Just Okay. I'd put it in I don't think I've read this, but I kind of remember the end of it and it was very short and I really liked the way that it ended for the people in All Your Perfect. I thought it was very sweet. Earthlings was so good. I really enjoyed that book. This tear maker is getting too big. Can I try and shrink the window? Okay, there you go. You can kind of see a bit more now. Sorry about the ads on the side. Just please ignore that. Anyway, what was I talking about? Earthlings was so good. This was insane. Very dark at certain points, but then also kind of funny at other points. Really weird, but I really enjoyed this. Leave the World Behind kind of sucked. I didn't really like it. I just didn't think I gelled with the writing really, and the plot kind of left me wanting a lot more. Then we've got The Honey Don't List. This was good, but it wasn't great. I really enjoyed this. This is kind of a high ranking book for me. I did think it was very good and it definitely exceeded my expectations a lot and I found it really fun. Convenience Store Woman, Have My Children. This was incredible. Nothing really happens in it, but I am obsessed with it. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. Then we've got Good Girl Bad Blood. Again, absolutely adored this one. Have My Children, incredible book. I love Holly Jackson's writing and I love Pip and I love this series, so it was really good. The Ballad and the Songbirds and the Snakes. Unfortunately, I'm going to put this in this kind of sucked because the last, it's divided into 3 parts. The last part ruins this book entirely because nothing happens and it's so dull and it's unnecessary. You end up at the same place at the start and the end of it, and the other 2 parts are so good. I cannot rank this high because the last part ruins it so much and it's so annoying because it's not even a short book. It's like 400 pages or so, so you can cut out the last part and you'll still have a decent sized book. It was so annoying because the other part was so good. Station 11, I'm going to put in You Were Good But You Weren't Great. I did actually enjoy this one. I thought it was very cool. I liked the premise. I read it via audiobook. I don't know whether I would have enjoyed it more or less by a physical book, but it was good and I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. Layla, this was kind of weird, but I'm going to put it in Just Okay. It was fine. I don't remember too much of it, but like it was weird enough that like I remember what it was about, if that makes any sense. But it was just okay. I really don't have too many feelings on it. Throttled, I can't remember. I do not remember. I don't think I liked it all too much, but it was pretty forgettable. You've Reached Sam, You Were Good But You Weren't Great. I can't remember too much of it, but I remember enough that I did enjoy it. It was a very good book, very heartfelt, and I really liked it. Dialect for Aunties I did not like. This caused me physical pain. Uncontroversial opinion, it was so dull and not funny. It was like painfully unfunny. That was the issue. Collided was okay. It was better than Throttled, I think, but again, it was fine. I got through it reasonably quickly, but I think it's just okay, very much just okay. Stuck on You I actually really enjoyed. I'm putting it in You Were Good But You Weren't Great. This very much exceeded my expectations. I did not expect to like this as much as I did, because it was just kind of a random pickup for me. It wasn't like recommended or anything like that, but it was very good. I really enjoyed it. The Spanish Love Deception, I can't remember. I think this was just fine, really. Like, it was okay. I'm putting it in just okay because it very much was just fine. I can't really say much about it. It was very much fine. The Brutal Prince, I don't think I read this. I cannot remember you at all. I think I liked it. I remember like 2 of the main characters and nothing else. The Appeal was so good. I really liked this book. I cannot wait to read the next 2 books that Janice Hallett has put out. One comes out this month, one came out last year, and they're all kind of mixed media, which is my favorite type of book kind of layout. I'm gonna have to zoom out again because it's getting so big now. But I really enjoyed it. It was so good. Meet Me in Another Life. I'm gonna put this in You Were Good But You Weren't Great. I really enjoyed it, but the ending just kind of was so rogue to me. I thought it was all kind of like a magical realism, and then it kind of just went a different way, and I don't know why, I just didn't really enjoy it too much. I kind of think it spoiled it. If this gets out, I believe I gave this a 5 stars. I believe I really liked this. I really can't remember it too much though, but I think from what I liked, it was like a boy band, like secret relationships. So I'm putting it in This Was So Good. Again, another one I want to reread to see if it holds up, but really enjoyed that one as far as I remember. But I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I really liked it because it's basically kind of like One Direction coded. One Last Stop kind of sucked. I didn't like it, unfortunately. It was fine. Actually, no, it wasn't. I didn't like it. The only redeeming thing about this was the found family. I didn't like the couple. I didn't like the romance. I liked the magical realism and the kind of speculativeness of it, but other than that, didn't really enjoy it. My Policeman was just okay. Like, it was fine. I think I liked it more than some of the other books in here, but not all of them, so I feel like that's a good place to put it. Too Late also I actually enjoyed. Unpopular opinion, I'm putting it in just okay because it was just fine. It felt very much like a Wattpad book. Overall, I didn't think it was bad. Same for The Soulmate Equation. I can't remember it, to be honest. Actually, I'm putting in I don't think I read this, but okay. Again, it's very forgettable to me, but I do think I liked it, but again, I can't remember it. The One in the Purple Skirt was so good. I really enjoyed this one. I do think it could have done with a little bit more of a bigger twist at the end. I feel like it was kind of building up, and then it was kind of like, oh, cool. Whereas it could have gone even crazier, and I would have liked that, but overall I did enjoy this. The Road Trip. The trouble is, I liked the story, but I feel like the reveal of like why they stopped talking, because it's basically a second chance, was so bad. It was kind of unforgivable, and the last part took a really weird turn and I didn't like it. Like after they kind of, you know, had things happen at the end, kind of where you would normally wrap up a book, it kind of went really rogue, which I found so weird. As Good as Dead is a god tier book. Had My Children so good, so crazy, and I loved it. 8 Perfect Hours. This was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. Does it actually fit up here? I feel like I maybe want to bump it down because I don't think it fits in with those books, but overall it was very good and I did enjoy that. All Roads Lead Here was just okay. I don't really have too much to say about it, unfortunately. It was very much a slow burn. Killer in the Snow, I read this so recently, but I literally can't remember any of it. A very forgettable book for me. The Fine Print, You Were Good. You Were Good, but You Weren't Great. Actually, you were kind of good. Why am I talking to it like it's here? I think I'd actually reread this, so I am putting it in This Was So Good. I did really enjoy it, and I definitely would reread it. So that kind of, anything above This Was So Good, like This Was So Good and Have My Children, is kind of reread ability for me, and I do think I'd reread all those books. I Love You, I Hate You. I don't think I read this, cannot remember it at all. Every Summer After was so good. I really enjoyed that as well. Didn't love the kind of, again, the reason why they stopped talking, similarly to All of the Road Trip, but I did really enjoy it. The Cheat Sheet was good. It wasn't great, but I really enjoyed it. It was very cute. Friends to Lovers. Reminds of Him, Have My Children. I love this so much. This is probably, along with It Ends With Us, my favourite Colleen Hoover book. Terms and Conditions. This was so good. I loved it. I really do think The Final Offer could be a top book of 2023 for me. I'm so excited for it. Verity, Have My Children. Insane, so good. I loved it. We've got a really good bunch in a row here. Love on the Brain, absolutely adored, as well as Darling Venom. These were so good. Then a little drop down. Things We Never Got Over sucked so bad. For me personally, I feel like I always have to say, for me personally, everyone loves this. I found it so dull. I didn't like the main love interest, and it just dragged so much. It starts with us, Have My Children. It was so cute. I loved it. I love Lily Bloom. She's one of my favourite characters ever. Again, we've got a real jump here. A Man Kissed in Your Lifetime. Sorry, I also didn't like this. I found the couple very much insufferable. I didn't like them at all, unfortunately. Again, I also didn't like, we got such a bad row here. But yeah, I really didn't like the book. Again, I felt like it was like a short story, and it was just all sex, but they were kind of framing it as this kind of romantic reconciliation of a couple, and I really didn't think it was that. The Mindfuck series was so good. Again, this is another one I really want to reread because I think this has potential on a second read to become a 5-star. Really enjoyed it. Love Like Farms was good. It wasn't great. It was just a fine romance. Very cute. Heartbones was so good. I adored this one. Really cute. Summery romance. Loved it so much. Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mum Died sounds weird when I put it in the category Have My Children, but this was also an incredible book. I only actually read 2 non-fictions this year, which is so bad because I really wanted to read more, but one was a 5-star, one was a 1-star, so we had varying scales. Hopefully this year we can have a more balanced split. But this is my ranking of every book that I read in 2022. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm really glad that the taller categories have the kind of biggest amount of books in them. The kind of higher categories, that's always a good sign that I enjoyed the books I was reading, obviously. We like to see that. Ideally for next year, I think I'd love to have my Children tier be 2 boxes thick. That would be the ideal, and then the kind of middle 2 to be a bit thinner. I'd love to read more books that I love than just okay books. I feel like obviously you don't want to read books that you don't like, but I'd really love to kind of have just a more polarizing view of books rather than just you are okay. But I feel like inevitably there's a lot of books I just feel kind of indifferent about. These 2 middle tiers, especially this bottom one, it's just like I have nothing to say about them. Like, they were fine. But yeah, these top tier of books are incredible. I love them, would reread them in a heartbeat. Second tier, I'd also probably very much like to reread. Third tier, I might, but it's unlikely. So yeah, these are all the books that I read in 2022. I really hope you guys did enjoy this. I had so much fun doing this, I can't lie. I love doing tier ranking videos, so if you guys have any more ideas of things for me to tier rank, definitely let me know because I'd love to do that. I'm thinking of doing tropes next, but if you have any kind of authors, book types, let me know. But yeah, I really hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to give it a like down below, hit subscribe, turn on the bell, join a little club, make sure you turn on all notifications, then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. If you want to watch my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as well as a load linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!